Hey guys, it's Jim Bounds at Motorhome Rehab Ranch, and this is episode 11. 11 is to talk about the last video and how it works and where you would put the components and things like that. But first, if you're watching me on Patreon, you already know this. But if you're on YouTube, I did a 10.5 video over on Patreon, and it showed where the air ride system controls go. All right. Also, it showed on horn blasters where to pick up said system. So if you haven't seen that, that means you're watching me on YouTube. That's okay, but it's going to change soon. YouTube will not have all of our videos from the ranch. I really want you to right now just pause on this and go to Patreon, go to the website, Motorhome Rehab Ranch. Now, when you go there, if you haven't been there before, I know it looks like a pay site. It's okay. I leave it that way. As soon as it pulls up, you hit the site, just scroll down. The last 10 videos that I've done with you and I here will be there. Okay, the last 10. After the 10, they go into the database. They'll be erased on the daily or the weekly feed, and it will go into the database. So if you want to pick me up on a weekly feed, go to patreon.com, search for creator, Motorhome Rehab Ranch, and when it comes up, literally just scroll down. Just scroll down. You don't have to register. You don't have to do anything. I appreciate if you do. If you feel this is useful, become a ranch hand. It tells you how to do it right there. And if you want to go to the database, the non-member database, just hit collections. As soon as the site comes up, just hit collections. If you want to come to our weekly talks and stuff, just scroll down. Okay? So go take a look. You'll see the Patreon post, and it has this on the front page. Okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about where, how, and what's it going to look like to put the system in the coach. First of all, as we talked, the compressor will go in the front because of the high current that it needs. We'll go right from the vehicle battery positive right into it. Okay. Also, we're going to have a relay. We're going to have the compressor relay up front. It's going to be just up above the just to the right of the wiper control on the bracket that the wiper control is on. Does that make sense? Here we go. Right below here, this is the line coming up. This is a relay here. This is my backup relay. This relay went out. So I just took the lines off and ran them to here. You see, they're separate relays. Now you can get a socket, makes it real nice and easy. Okay. I can see I'm getting a little bit of corrosion here, so I'm going to change this, but that relay can live up front. Okay. Now, also, you're going to have the dryer up there. Okay. You'll be able to check it and spit it on a regular interval. Okay. From there, the controls will go in the original control panel. The system, when you buy it from Horn Blasters or wherever you get it, it's gonna look like that. Okay, it's gonna have an under dash bracket. Okay, that's fine. And if you want to set it up like that, fine. Screw it to the bottom and you're ready to go. But what you want to do is to take the control pan out of it. Now, have you noticed it has it has the one thing that I told you I didn't like, and those were the press lock fittings. That's okay. But you can disconnect them, pull the controls out, use that plate as a pattern to cut out a new plate. Cut out a new plate. This one actually has the Velvac wiper controls in it. But right here are the two switches and the controls. Over on the dash, we used the switch for on, off, and auto over on the dash. We didn't put it over here. But you could. You could put it on that panel and make it all the same. Okay. Then you're going to run a bundle. You're going to run a bundle of 3 airlines and 1 trigger wire. 3 airlines are left, right, and pressure coming off of the compressor, off the back of the control panel. You know, because that's the pressure that's going to go to the height control valves. The 2 relays that run the height control valve, for you guys that had Electro-Level system, we can put them right there. Put a little breadboard, a little panel, and put the 2 solenoids that kick it into auto mode in the back. Run a wire back as a trigger. Okay. And we have 3 airlines, pressure, left and right. Perfect. You hook the relays up to the pressure left and right. They go to the height control valves. The original height control valves will be in the original locations. So you run an airline, 2 airlines to the passenger side under the coach, right next to the fuel tank, and inside. Now, you guys that had Power Level, in the lower cabinet that the later guys had their Electro-Level in, you may have something in there. I would like you on the back of that panel, in that compartment, to put the 2 solenoids. They're safe. They won't get nasty. Now, supposedly they're supposed to be waterproof, and theoretically we can put them up front, but I would rather not. If you want to, that's fine. I would rather keep them out of the weather because, like I showed you, the relay did weather, and I did have to replace it. Relays are easy, 4 wires. The solenoids are a little more difficult. So let's put those in the back. Segregate those in the back because all we need to go is 3 airlines to the back. If we put the solenoids in the front, we'd have to have 2 more airlines. Okay, so we don't want to do that. Let's put the solenoids in the back. Now, connected to the airbag, you're going to have, again, the obligatory shut-off valves and stuff. That's your backup. Okay. Coming from the airbag, the lines will come across from the passenger side underneath the coach. On the driver's side, they'll both go into where that compartment is. Now, you guys that have Power Level, you can cut a hole. No, there's a hole there. No, there's not. Cut a hole and go inside the compartment, and that's where your lines to the airbag will terminate. That's where the 3 airlines from the front will terminate, right? Right there, we'll have the T's and the solenoids. The trigger wire comes down. You pick up a ground somewhere, and it's all in. Make sense? All right. So as far as where to put the hardware, give me a call. The front is easy. The back for Electro-Level is easy. And I think it makes sense. Okay. Now, how does it work? This control up here. When you come into the coach, let's assume that the air is leaked out, or it didn't. Okay. As soon as you turn the coach on, the accessory will put power to your system, and the compressor, the direct drive compressor, will come on. If you flip the auto button, both airbags will be pressurized up at the same level. It will come up and it will shut down. If there wasn't a leak, you you turn it on, you flip the switch, it should, if it needs to come up or balance, it can do that. If it goes nowhere, just to be sure everything's cool, push the left and the right rocker panels to up, and the compressor should come on within a couple of 3 seconds. And that's to tell you that it is in fact working. That means the power system is working, which means if that's true, your control system is mechanical and that's working. Make sense? One nice thing, say you're in auto and you're going along the highway, and for some reason there's a lot of obstructions or something. Well, if you hold the high control, you hold your left and right rocker panel up, the coach will come up. And for that mechanical time, 12 to 14 seconds, it will keep coming up. Okay, then you get through all your obstruction and stuff and let go, it will come back down to right height. Make sense? When it comes back down to right height, the compressor will shut off and you'll be back where you're going to be. Now you say, well, has anybody ever put this system in? Yes. This is the control system, which means it had a direct drive compressor on the coach that I drove up to Virginia from Orlando. Worked perfect. No problem at all. And that one didn't even have the dryer slash expansion valve. It didn't even have that. It worked automatically, immediately. And it was just fine. Which means with the dryer in there to pull the water out, and yeah, the system might have a little bit of a water issue, and we'll work on that later. But that was the test bed. That was the one to see if it would work. If the high control valves, the 12 to 14 seconds would lead, and the compressor wouldn't come on immediately, and all that kind of stuff. It worked perfect. Okay, so if you want to go back, and it was a road trip to Virginia. I think there's a little bit of content in there about the air ride system, but that was the system that we used. Make sense? All right. I know a lot of you guys were thinking in the direction of going to electronics, and it's true. This system did go progressively into electronics, but remember, as it does that, it has to have specific parts. And, you know, we've got a coach that only has X amount of total volume. It's not worth making a specific part for it. Now, again, if you went through all the hassle and understanding of the system to make one work, that you can replace the high control valve or the logic or whatever, that's all fine. That's all good. But you're going to be tied to that part. And when that part, like if you use that rover part, if that part goes out of availability, you're back where you started. So the idea of using off-shelf parts to keep it where it's reliable, inexpensive, easy to understand, and easy to maintain, I think is the right way to go, because we got a 50-year-old machine anyway. I mean, if you put space age stuff in it, again, that's going to set the date when that's going to have to be redesigned, because our coach has made it through the test of time. It's going to be here. You and I are going to come and go, but these coaches, they're going to stay. Make sense? All right, well, look, guys, I hope that this gives you some input on the logic, on where to put the stuff, okay, where to put it in your coach. You want to put it in a place that's easy to get to and all that kind of stuff. If you decide to do this, this is not all the input that I feel that you need to do it. This introduces it to you. Now is when you get involved in the ranch and you become a ranch hand and you give me a call and we all do it together. You can't be an island. The idea of just, well, I don't want to get involved or anything like that, I'll just take it someplace and have them do it, doesn't work anymore. It's $150 an hour just for the labor. And if there's one or two places in the country, that's a lot of time and travel and expense to go there and back. And if something happens, now what? You have to take it back? Doesn't make sense. The thing that makes sense in trying to keep our 26-foot hot rods with plumbing on the road is to get involved, is to either get involved yourself mechanically or find someone locally that you can take it to, that you can pair with, that you can work with, that to maintain it. Because the days of taking it to a dealership and all that, I pretty much proved that's over. When we finally had to stop the madness, we had so many coaches in there, and they wanted so many things that it just wasn't possible to do it. It just wasn't possible. So doing it at your place, doing it with the assets that you have with you, I think is the way to maintain and to enjoy your GMC. All right. Well, look, guys, thanks for the time. I hope you've learned something on this. If you have other questions, I'd be happy to do other videos. Remember, this video is going to be in the database for rear suspension. There's some other things in our database that you might want to look at and preview if you're going to be involved in your rear suspension system. Make sense? All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Hit like and share if you're on YouTube. But go to Patreon, guys. Go to Patreon. Give me a comment. Tell me you're there. Say, hey, give me a wave or something like that. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your support. And we'll see you next time.